Are you feeling a little overwhelmed by all of the prompts, let alone what are the prompts when you're using Midjourney? So I'm going to go through some of the key ones and how I would go about using them and some little tips and tricks that you may want to take note of. Have a look at the timestamp if you want to skip and watch bits and pieces. Midjourney.com, make sure you go in and create an account. To use it, you do need to have a Discord account, so go and create one on discord.com, then go over to Midjourney, sign in or however you want to do it, and then you'll get access to Discord, not Discord, Midjourney. Once you're in Discord, go over to the sailing ship over here, click that, and now you're in Midjourney territory. What you then want to do is just click on any of these newbie areas. I keep going to newbies 198 just because it seems to be there. Now, the very first prompt I want to talk about is if you have subscribed or you're paying monthly and you're actively using it like I am, how do you know how many units or images or prompts can you still do for what's left for the month? Well, what you do is you go and type in /info, hit return, and you might need to hit return twice, by the way. It's a bit weird how it asks you to do it twice. And this is now currently telling you my account details. I'm happy to share them because there's nothing exciting over there at the moment. But I've already used 170 so far. It says I've got about 51 remaining. That's classed in terms of minutes. Now I'm going to assume, let's just assume I can get about 30 or 35 more images, which should be enough for this tutorial. But if you're actively using it a lot, /info, and that's going to give you your details. Now the obvious command we all use is the /imagine, and when you type that you'll see the word prompt. Click that. And down here is now when you can start typing in your items, and we're going to come back and revisit it. Now, I'm not going to use it one of my prompts right now, but if it's the first time you're using Midjourney, /imagine, that's what that is there for. And you can see examples of some of the text that people are using. Now, here's a prompt that will only work for some people. It's called /relax. I'm just going to hit return on that. Now, that won't work for me. You have to have one of the standard or corporate accounts, which is a little bit higher. And what the relax mode allows you to do is kind of divvy up how quick the images are generated. Now, normally for all of us, it's going to be like roughly the same speed, depending on how many people are on the server. If you go for the relax mode, I could put in 10 images and it will not come off my monthly account. But the trouble is though, it will take a longer time to generate. So you've got to kind of weigh it off. Now I don't have the standard or corporate account, so relax mode is not going to work for me. But if you've got it, that's what it's there for. /settings is probably one of the most important prompts because once you hit enter on that, these are now the options where you can adjust what your standard settings are. Now, I by default tend to type in V4 when I'm creating an image, but in actual fact, it's already defaulting to Midjourney version 4. If you want to go for a lower version, you can do, but I would say Midjourney version 4, it's still being worked on and improved. I would stay on that. You do have these other options as well, whereby you can do some testing with images, but I would just go with base quality. I'm just telling you what I would go for. I would leave it at that. If you want to go for a lesser quality, you've got the option, or you can go for a much higher quality, but then every time you create an image, it's eating into your units or what you've paid for on a monthly basis. For style, I would go for medium, leave it at that. Again, if you pick a higher style, it's going to take longer and you're eating into your monthly units. Regular upscale, again, leave this until you know which image you now want to upscale a lot more. And public mode. Now, private mode, you can't activate unless you're paying extra amounts. If I try and click it, I'm probably going to get a message here that says at some point, no, you can't do that. Now, remix mode. We are going to come back to this one later on, okay? But for now, just leave that there, but we are going to touch that one later on. But if you want to adjust your settings, you can do that. Let's have a look at the aspect ratio. Now, the way to do that is first you'd have to put in an imagine and a prompt, and we're just going to go for a really simple description. I've typed in Yoda dancing with Gizmo, not very imaginative, but then again, probably too imaginative. And now what I'm going to do is type, a space. I'm going to go -AR. Now, when you are using version 4, you can only go for 3:2 or 2:3. Notice there is a space between the AR and the first number. Now, if you're using version 3, you can actually go for 16:9 if you want to get a full landscape. or even go for 916 if you want to get a portrait. But if you try to activate this, like I'll try it now, okay, because we are currently on version 4, you get an error saying, nope, that's not supported. So if you want to activate version 3, you could do it like this. So I'm using the same words, and then after the 916, I'm going to put -V with a space and then 3. That would now work. However, because I'm preferring to use version 4, which is default, I'm going to get completely rid of that version 3 because it's already set within my settings, if you saw the previous timestamp. And instead, we're going to set this to be 3.2, so it's more landscape. And now we're going to hit return. Our image has been generated, so let's open it up. And that's not too bad. However, it's not looking very gizmo-y, I have to be honest there. So maybe we need to think about our wording. But we have got Yoda dancing with another little object. It's almost like an albino Yoda going on there, a little bit hairier, but hey, that's kind of what it's doing. I will point out though, the way the images work is we have a grid of 4, and the way it works is you have image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. Think of it in a Z, okay? So image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. And let's say I quite like the look of image number 2 over here, and I want to now upscale it. This is where you would go back over to your Discord, and where we have it, I would hit U2. That will upscale image 2 and make it bigger, okay? What if I don't want to upscale image number 2, but I want to make some variations of image number 2? I could either click this and it will make 4 completely different images, or I could just hit V2, and that will now take image number 2 and create 4 versions of that. So I'm not upscaling yet, and this can save you, you know, upscaling and then creating version. Just do it straight on the fly from here. So a quick reminder of what image number 2 looks like before we did the variation, and here are the variations that we've now got. And you can see it's taking the image and giving us 4 alternate ways of looking at it. And now if we decide, actually I like this one, I would go, so this is now image number 1 of the variation. I would go over here and I would now upscale image number 1, and it will now generate a bigger version for me there. Now all of the images were slightly landscapey with the 3:2. What would we have got if we had done the aspect ratio to be 2:3 instead? Let's just run that same image. It's pretty obvious what the results are going to be. Now they are in more of a portrait style with the 2 and 3. So remember, if you want to go for 16:9 or 9:16, you're going to have to use version 3 or anything else other than version 4. But hopefully at some point version 4 will accommodate this as well. Now there is also another command called chaos. So if we go -chaos and put a space there, we can go from a range of 0 to 100. Basically, the higher you are, the more chaos you're going to get in terms of how varied the images are. So I'm going to type in chaos 100 like that, and we're going to hit return. So we're going full scale. Let's just see what it does. And here are the results. Whereas our 4 images that we were getting were quite similar in setting, these are very, very different. We have a background, we have no background, we've got a green background, and it looks more illustration-y, while this one here has more of a 3D cartoony effect, almost like a Muppet effect, which is almost ironic, really, when you say Yoda Muppet effect. Isn't that kind of... Anyway, and then we got a bit more here. Looks like he's doing a bit of Tai Chi or something there. So we get a bit more variation. So chaos, if you really just want to go, right, I want to put in a command and just let it rip, we've given me 4 completely different styles. Chaos 100, but you could go with Chaos 50 as well and try it out. Stylized kind of defines how artistic your imagery is going to be. The values range from 625 to 60,000. Generally, 2,500 is the default when you're using Midjourney 3 or below. When you're using Midjourney 4, the default, well, the maximum you can go to is 1,000. Now, if you are between 625 and 60,000 for Midjourney 3 or below, 625 is going to be quite basic. 2,500 is the norm. 60,000 could be way out there with what kind of image you get, which might be nothing like what you've actually written here, which is Yoda dancing. But when you're on version 4, the range is from 0 to 1,000. So 0 is going to be kind of like could be quite boring and basic. 500 kind of in the middle. But if you were to go with 1,000, remember we are defaulted to Midjourney 4 at the moment. This should kind of push up the scale, and it might give us a bit of stylistic imagery or not? Let's have a look. So here are the results with Stylize 1000, and they look quite okay. And you can see the quality in the images there, right? It really stands out. Imagine these upscaled. It's really nice. And when you compare it to Stylize 100, they still look good because this is version 4, but can you see the quality is almost not completely there? Now, there is a separate prompt for quality as well, but the Stylize is the one I feel like really can make or break things. I would say, by default, just set it to Stylize 1000. Now, I've gone and created 3 additional versions of the same prompt. One of them is Yoda dancing with Chewbacca, Yoda dancing with Chewbacca hyperrealistic, and then another one with Yoda dancing with Chewbacca Unreal Engine 5. These again are commands you can pop in to make your image more realistic. So let's just go to the basic one, which would be Yoda dancing with Chewbacca. So this does not have the word hyperrealistic and it does not have the word Unreal Engine 5. Okay. All right. I mean, maybe I needed to put the word stylize 1000 or something like that because they're not, it's almost like it's merging the wording a little bit then. That looks more like a little dog that's dancing, but you can see how it's being a little bit imaginative. So this was just Yoda dancing with Chewbacca. What about on the hyper realistic version? Okay, that's looking a little bit more realistic. We're getting the vibes of the color there and the matted hair and everything, and the same there with the head shape. So we're getting a bit of a similarity, but again over here, Chewbacca's now got Yoda ears. If we now go to the final one, which was the Unreal Engine 5, you can literally see the difference in quality, can't you, with the first one? The second one, which was hyper realistic, and it was better, but now over here, it's now taken on a completely different form. You would have to be a little bit methodical with the wording you put in because every word counts, and we've done really basic Yoda dancing with Chewbacca. We might want to clarify it a little bit more to get the image to look how we want. Now, the final 2 things I want to tell you are, I think, a little bit groundbreaking in what you could use Midjourney for. The first one is where you can actually set your default commands. So rather than you continuously typing in AR32, maybe even version 4, 4K, 8K, stuff like that, hyper realistic and all of that, you can actually set it and it will always use those commands when it's creating your image. So we're going to type in prefer, and you can actually see it over here, option set. I'm going to click that and it has the word option. This is now where you want to give it a name. I'm just going to call this one basic because I might create 3 different styles here. So I'm going to click basic, and then over here, I'm then going to click a value. You got to click out of it and then just click the value. The prompt is over there. And here's now where you pop in your value. So I'm going to go with hyphen. In fact, I won't do that first. I'll put in 8K first. And then I'm going to go with hyphen AR32 and then hyphen V4. Even though it is already defaulted to V4, I'm just sticking it in there anyway. And then I'm going to go hyphen stylize 1000 like that. So that's me keeping it pretty simple with what I want. I could apply chaos if I want, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple. So remember the word basic. You might want to make a note of these. Okay, so I'm now going to hit enter. That is now entered into my system, but I don't want to stop there. I now want to go for another one. So I'm going to go for prefer option list. Okay, not option list, prefer option set. Okay, look, it's easy to get this wrong. And I'm now going to call this one website like that. And I'm just going to click out of there, click the word value. And again, I'm now going to just pop in my command. So I'm going to go with 4K. So I'm creating different groups that I can use. And we'll go for prefer and we'll go for option set. And this one I'm going to call it people. So what we have is a basic website and we have people. So I've gone for 8K hyperrealistic, Unreal Engine 5 cinematic, epic, AR32, V4 stylize 1000, and that is now in the command as well. So now when I go over here and I type imagine prompt and I go female barbarian fighting trolls, I'm actually now just going to go with hyphen and type in people, not portrait. Why did I type that? People like that. That hyphen people contains all of my styling that I've already pre-defaulted into the system. So let's hit that. While that's generating, let's go and do another one. So we'll go with imagine prompt. Okay, again, that's now you're going to use the prompt from there. So that one's gone in. And then we also had one last one, which was the basics. So let's go with image prompt. Right, I'm not sure how this is going to work. And then we're going to put hyphen basic. And if I just hit return on that, that's now going to basically use those pre-built defined commands. If I just scroll up over here, you can see the words, and it's actually populated everything that I had put in the default, even though I only put hyphen people. We're not really seeing the trolls, unfortunately, so maybe I need to refine the wording a bit. But can you see the hyperrealistic Unreal Engine 5 commands coming out? I mean, below your mind moment, right? What about the orange and white small business website? Not bad, really, is it? I mean, maybe if I hadn't put the word website and put like landing page or something like that, they might have done it without doing the mock-ups over there. But, you know, that's not a bad little design going on over there, the orange and white. And it's using like the terms UI and UX as well, so that's not bad. And of course, the one I think you're all wanting to see right now, Transformer Autobot based on Back to the Future DeLorean. Look, it's taking in all of our basic words. What did we get here? Okay, so maybe I should have said it in robot mode, maybe, so we had it as a robot. But, you know, it's you know, it just looks like a pumped up kind of like DeLorean, really, but it's still really stylish. But you can see the variation in the image quality in a way with some of the pre-defaults that you could do. So anyone out there goes, oh, I've got to type in AR and stylize and all of these things, just set it and away you go. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about is how can you actually upload images? And I know you're going to go, yeah, we know how to do that. But did you know you can remix more than one image? So let me show you what I mean. Now let's just cover the basics first of uploading an image. If I click the plus sign and upload a file, I'm going to upload an image I've just taken of Patrick Stewart, because I'm going to remix this in a moment. I'm going to hit return. Patrick Stewart is now loaded into the system. Once you've done that, you need to click the link to see the image and then copy the URL at the top. So I'm going to go with Imagine Prompt. And I'm going to paste in that URL of the image. And I'm then going to say, as Darth Vader with, in terms of the stylizing and the other prompts, I'm just going to type in hyphen people. If you've watched our previous video that we've released just before this one, which is about Midjourney Prompt, you'll understand what the hyphen people is, because I've defined loads of my options all within that. So go and watch that video. Right, let's hit return. So stay with me on this. This is what it's currently done with Patrick Stewart, as Darth Vader, if they ever decided to do this kind of version of X-Men in space, which they could probably do with one of their comics anyway. Anyway, let's just close that down. I'm going to upload another image, and the idea is that I'm going to remix that. The first thing I want to do is just upload it and get the URL for that. So let's just add that one in. This is just an image of Yoda, like here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remix Yoda and Patrick Stewart. I hope it works. So there's the image, and I'm now going to take the URL. To remix two images, you would think that you would just paste them in, but it isn't going to work like that. What you've got to do is go to / and go to settings. Again, watch the prompt video, because this will clarify a lot of what I'm doing here, where you can now access your settings. Down here, we have one called Remix. I am going to activate Remix. Remix is now activated. Now, I'm going to take the URL of Yoda first. Well, let me just type in Imagine Prompt like that. This is the Yoda one first. Then I'm going to put a space, and then I'm going to pop in the URL for Patrick Stewart. So I've got a space, and I've got two different URLs going on in there. Then I'm going to type in hyphen people, because that's the one I've already predefined. Let's hit return. The basis of doing this is, rather than me just saying Patrick Stewart as Yoda, I've actually defined the exact Yoda image I wanted to use, and I'm hoping it's going to now just basically blend and merge them together. And here's the result. So we're getting more of a Patrick Stewart look, but it's got the kind of the wrinkles and the frustration of Yoda etched across the face. So what I'm now going to do is swap it over. So we've put the Yoda image in first, we've then put a space, and then we're going to put in the Patrick Stewart image, and I'm going to say with long Yoda ears, with long, well, I don't know, let's just take out the word long, with Yoda ears, green skin, and then we're going to type in hyphen people. So that's going to bring through the hyperrealistic Unreal Engine 5. You can see it down here, actually, what it's pulling through, the version for stylize and the free 2 as well. And here is what we get. I mean, there's hints of Patrick Stewart in there. You've kind of got to look for it. And maybe if I flip the images the other way around, maybe they would look a little bit different. But I am remixing 2 images. So what that means is, let's say you've already created 2 images using Midjourney, and now you want to blend them together. Or maybe you've created a barbarian, and now you want to get like an actor or your own face, and you want to blend it with that. It basically means that you're now not just working with variations of a artificial intelligence created image, AI image. You can remix them together, and that's using the remix setting. You've got to activate that, and now rather than uploading just 1 image, you could upload 2 and blend them together. Started with 170. I've now used up about 33. Shows how easy you can do it, but I'm hoping some of the prompts and explanations are going to help you out. Hey, I'm Imran, Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. I'll see you.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, 'cause I